Hey, you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost! Peekaboo, I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Available summer 2023, the album, Dad, Shimmy Shimmy, AF, Rock on Gold Dust. Oh wait, we're talking about Jaclyn Hill today, so not so much of a gold dust woman. What's a more appropriate song to sing since I'm talking about Jordan's love, his undying admiration and love for Miss Jaclyn Hill. I've got sunshine on a cloudy day, my girl talking about my girl, boost! How are you guys doing? So that's my little homage to Jordan, Jaclyn Hill's husband, Mrs. Hill, that's what I call Jordan. His podcast that he did the other day, I have received several requests from people to talk about this podcast, of which Jordan goes in and he talks, it's like over an hour long, I think an hour and a half maybe, and he talks about so many different things. I know people are like, Peter's saying thank God for the timestamps, but thank God for the timestamps in there because I really didn't know where to find the information, and I did watch the whole thing. But then I went back and I wanted to make sure that I took some notes. And so I went through the timestamps and I watched the parts specifically over again where he talked about Jaclyn Hill and her cancellation or being canceled time and time again, Jaclyn Hill and cancel culture, Jaclyn Hill and Lipstickgate. Apparently, he is the foremost expert on the cancellation of Jaclyn Hill. So I want to talk about that today because a lot of people have asked me to respond to this podcast and what I thought about it. So I will get into that right now. But before I do, I need a little bit of lip gloss because I have lots to say about this and I took some notes. And I just want to say this, first of all, like I actually thought it was a rather interesting podcast. It seems like now my job is to be reviewing podcasts. I just reviewed the podcast that Shane Dawson did with Steve O last week, and now I'm reviewing this podcast that Jordan did with his friends. The podcast is actually, I have it pulled up, hold on a second. It is called Farnham Deep Dive, Marrying Jaclyn Hill, Death of Brother, Insecurities, and More, and it was on the Paid Day Off podcast, which are friends of his that I think most of them he grew up with, or the main host he grew up with and has been friends with for a very, very long time. Now, I want to say this before I get into this video. There were certain issues that I had. It's very obvious to me, number one, that Jordan has drank the Kool-Aid of Jaclyn Hill, okay? Number one, that's very, very obvious when you watch this podcast, that he has completely drank the Kool-Aid of Jaclyn Hill and her victimization and her believing that the whole world is out to get her and that she has no responsibility in the scandals that have occurred and things like that, okay? The other thing that is there's three things, actually, that are obvious to me. The second thing that is very obvious to me is now I have a better understanding, a fuller understanding of why Jaclyn Hill does act in this way, because apparently, like I have guessed for years, Jaclyn Hill has a lot of yes people around her that are telling her, oh, Jaclyn, you can do no wrong. Oh, Jaclyn, you have no part in this. Oh, Jaclyn, this is not your fault. You know, oh, Jaclyn, you're the best person. You're the most perfect person in the entire world, okay? Of which Jordan is one of those people. And the third thing that is very, very obvious to me after watching this podcast is that Jaclyn and Jordan watch a lot of drama videos, okay? Many drama videos. They watched them at the time of Lipstickgate, and he references drama videos talking about Jaclyn's scandals, and so it's very obvious to me that they continue to watch drama videos to this day talking about Jaclyn Hill or Jordan. Now, that being said, I want to say, I am somebody that for a very long time watched More Seasoning. When it came out, I started watching it, which is his cooking channel, and I really enjoyed it. There's only one thing, and that will come out in talking about this. There's only really one issue that I have with Jordan. I think Jordan seems like a very nice guy. He seems very stable. He seems like a great partner for Jaclyn Hill. Congratulations on their wedding and their marriage. I wish them all the best. They seem very, very happy together. And I'm not going to pick that apart and whatever. Their wedding looked beautiful, and I'm very happy for them, and they seem very happy, and she seems much happier with him and things like that. So congratulations to both of them. I really have no real issues with Jordan. The only thing that I have an issue with, which is going to come, because he says in the video, he says people want to talk about these scandals as if they know the truth, and they speculate, but they really don't have any proof or evidence, and they don't have any truth whatsoever. Well, I have some truths that I want to talk about in regards to Jaclyn as well as Jordan, that they say that there's no truth to these scandals, but I have some proof to the contrary. So I want to talk about that, but that's really the only issue that I have with Jordan. Like, I take no issue with him whatsoever. So I am literally just responding to the things that he said in this podcast, many of which I found to be very, very interesting. So I want to get into my notes. One of the first things I will say is, and I'm sure this is because they're his friends, the video is sitting at about 5.4 thousand views, so it's not like it's like getting mass amounts of views or anything like that. But there's like 30 comments, I think, on the whole video. When I watched it last night, there was like 25 comments on it. Every single comment, with the exception of one, they have hearted and liked, because every comment like is really in favor of Jordan, and oh, Jordan's so nice, and I love Jordan, and Jordan this, and Jordan that, blah, 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 whatever, right? Which is so nice. But it's interesting to me that there have to be people out there that are critical of Jaclyn Hill, and he does talk about the scandals, and he does talk about Lipstickgate at length in the video, that there are people that aren't questioning that at all. And so there's only one comment out of 30 that they did not heart, and it's about a comment that he makes about being a stay-at-home dad. And that's like literally the only comment. So I'm kind of wondering if they're not deleting comments on here. You know, I come out in videos a lot, and I'll say, like I just said this on the Steve-O podcast, I said, I don't think that he's somebody that would probably delete comments, and I said that in a video, and then there were several people that came out in my comment sections that said, I actually left a comment on that video that was deleted. So I don't know. Apparently, these comments might be deleted. I don't know where people are criticizing Jordan or criticizing Jaclyn. I have no clue, but it's a very glowing comment section, okay? And I will say this, like, not really knowing a whole lot about Jordan, with the exception of what I have seen from his videos that he's done with Jaclyn Hill, which are very few, or like Instagram stories with him and things like that. It was interesting to kind of hear his background story, and a lot about like, he gets into some personal issues with his family and things like that, which, you know, was very sad, but very interesting at the same time, and kind of gave me a better understanding of who Jordan is, which I think, you know, for me, in looking at Jaclyn Hill and the full picture of her, is interesting. And he even talks about, like, you know, like she really saved him to some degree and really helped him through like very difficult times that he was going through, and all this kind of stuff, and how they kind of like help each other out. And so like that was very nice to hear, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so now let's get into the critical part of what I thought about this podcast, okay? And really, I just kind of want to address the parts where he talked about cancel culture with Jaclyn Hill, and scandals involving Jaclyn Hill, and Lipstickgate, because those are the three things. Now, I will tell you that I looked, because I was like, really, what was Jordan's involvement with Jaclyn Hill at the time that Lipstickgate occurred? And I went in and I looked, and they had been dating for a little bit less than a year at the time. I think it was about a year, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, I'm not sure, at the time that Lipstickgate occurred, okay? So they had just been together a year, allegedly, when Lipstickgate occurred. What's interesting is that he goes in and talks about like how difficult it was to really protect her from everything that was going on and what was happening and all this kind of stuff. So I just want to say that. I wanted to make sure, because like I went in and I fact-checked like when they started dating and when Lipstickgate occurred and all that kind of stuff. So here are my notes on the Jordan podcast. All right. So the first thing that they talk about is his More Seasoning channel. And I will say this, like being his friends, and they explain their friendship and how they knew each other and grew up together and stuff like that. They actually asked him very direct questions, which is interesting to me, because when I watch podcasts where they have, you know, like highly problematic people, or people that have had a lot of, you know, scandals and whatever, you think they're going to ask the deep dive questions, and then they don't really ask the deep investigation questions, right? And I was kind of impressed that his own friends sat down and asked him the really deep questions. Like, I was impressed with that, right? And so they go in and they start talking about the development of his More Seasoning channel, and he explains that he really didn't want to start it, and that Jaclyn was really the one that kind of pushed him into doing it. And he even shows like a clip of his very first video and how like awkward he was and how uncomfortable he was. And that he said that they would like lay in bed at night and Jaclyn would say like, you should start this video channel of you cooking, like it'll be really good for you and whatever. He does say in there, I don't know if I have this in my notes or not, but he does admit that Jaclyn's success helped him. He says in there, you know, that like, they say something like, do you think that Jaclyn's, you know, success as a YouTuber helped you gain subscribers and views? And he was like, well, obviously, you know, like, we don't even go anywhere in public where she's not noticed and she's not recognized and all this kind of stuff. And he said, so obviously, you know, like, people were going to come to my channel and that's how I got a lot of subscribers. But interestingly enough, he says that he only had like 10,000 subs after 3 videos, but he still had to do the work. It wasn't handed to him, okay? And that he only got like 80,000 views on his first video. So I just want to put this in perspective for you. I don't know if you have a YouTube channel out there, if you started a YouTube channel. You know, like my Peterisms channel that I have, I think I get between like 500 and 1,000 views per video that I do. I'm not getting 80,000 views on it. I'm not married to Jaclyn Hill, obviously. And I'm not bitter about it. I love that channel so much, as people know. And I mean, I didn't get 10,000 views in 3 days in any of my channels, okay? I didn't get 10,000 subscribers on any of my channels within 3 videos. And that's a lot of growth, okay? For him to come out and be like, I only had 10,000 subscribers within 3 videos. Like, that's a lot of subscribers, whether you're Jaclyn Hill's man or not. And the reason why I sang My Girl at the beginning of this video is because the amount of times that Jordan, first of all, says bro in this video, and he even comments on the video and he says something about like, I'm sorry for the 10,000 times I said bro in this video or something, but he constantly refers to Jaclyn Hill as my girl, and so it just is kind of comical after a while. But anyway, so I thought it was interesting, and he said, you know, like, I'm still like, if you have any idea like what it's like to put out 2 videos a week, it's a full-time job. Now, I'm not cooking in the kitchen, and I don't have multiple cameras up and have to edit all that kind of stuff. I think we know, okay, I don't try to act like I'm the YouTuber of the world. I'm just a dude with a camera. But do I know what it's like to put out 2 videos a week? Yes, I do, okay? Is it like standing on your feet 8 hours a day at McDonald's, 40 hours a week? No. Let's just call it for what it is, okay? For you to want to compare making 2 videos a week, sitting down in front of a computer and editing it and making mac and cheese in the kitchen, the same as people hustling their butt, I don't know that you have any real idea of what a full-time job looks like, okay? And so it comes across as very condescending, which is interesting because Jaclyn Hill is somebody that comes across as very condescending and patronizing to her audience at times, right? So I don't know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but I thought that that was interesting, okay? The next thing is he starts talking about Lipstickgate. And he talks about Lipstickgate at 2 different points in the video, and he says in there, something about all these 30-minute videos of people tearing her down, saying untrue SHI tut, okay? And he basically is talking about drama videos. And he says in there, you know, like, there was really nothing that I could do. Like, what am I going to do? Come out against, you know, 500,000 people on social media? Like, there was no way that I could protect my girl. There was no way that I could protect my girl. I just told her, don't watch the drama videos. But what was interesting is, in him talking about it, it was very obvious that he was watching the drama videos. So he's telling her not to watch the drama videos, but yet he is watching the drama videos himself. So I thought that that was interesting. And then he says, what my girl went through with the lipstick was not her fault. I don't want to go into it for legal reasons. So basically what he is saying is that Jaclyn Hill, who now we don't even know if she ever was any part of Jaclyn Cosmetics. And you have to remember, this podcast came out and was filmed after all these court documents have come out, okay? That have shown that Jaclyn Hill really has never been a part of Jaclyn Cosmetics in any kind of like capacity except for like being the face of Jaclyn Cosmetics. I mean, it's been shown in court documents that she wasn't the CEO, she wasn't the CFO, she wasn't the manager, you know, nothing. Like, she was just like basically kind of like paid to be the creative director, I guess, of like, I don't even understand it, to be honest with you, but it's all going to come out in court documents and things like that, which is why he said he can't talk about it, you know, for legal reasons. But he goes in and talks about, like, if you had any idea, like, how difficult it is about labs and all this kind of stuff, which is interesting because Marlene Estelle just came out, and I did a video about this. If you want to go back, I think it's like the 2nd or 3rd video that I just made ago, and talked about how she basically gave Jaclyn Hill the labs to use and warned her about certain labs and things like that. And he's talking about how difficult it was. Well, it wasn't like your girl was doing it all on her own. She had a lot of help from Marlena Stell, and she had a lot of help from Linda from Morphe, okay? So it wasn't like, and apparently a lot of help from backers that were CEOs and CFOs of her company, because she wasn't, okay? So this whole narrative that she put out there, that she owned Jaclyn Cosmetics, that it was a family-owned business, that she had supplied all the money for it, which we now know is not true, allegedly, okay, is very interesting when he paints this picture that all of this stuff was out of her control. Now, the only way that that would make sense or be true is if Jaclyn really had nothing to do with this company at all, had nothing to do with the labs, which Marlena said that she was even at the lab with Linda the day that they were supposed to meet or something. So she was in the labs. She did have part to do with the labs. And so even if she wasn't the CFO or this, whatever, she was in the lab. She came out and she made a video and said the fuzzy lipsticks were because of the gloves and things like that, right? So, I mean, to look back and have Jaclyn Hill make a video after the fact, taking responsibility and saying she was so embarrassed and ashamed of these lipsticks, apologizing to her audience, paying her audience back that had bought these lipsticks, and now he's saying it was never her fault. Like, she had nothing to do with that. Well, then why did she make the video? Why did she ever make the video taking accountability for it? Why did she ever pay anybody back for the lipsticks? Like, I'm confused, okay? I'm very confused that you now want to come out and talk about this 3 years down the road and say Jaclyn had nothing to... And it's not Jaclyn coming out and saying that, God forbid Jaclyn ever get in a video and address anything, any of her scandals, okay, which we'll talk about in a second. But, it's not Jaclyn coming out and saying that she had nothing to do with Lipstickgate. It's her man, Jordan, right? He's saying she had nothing to do with Lipstickgate, which is interesting to me, Jaclyn can't come out and say it, but he does. So then he goes on and he says, people don't know what they're talking about with scandals. And this is the part where he talks about cancel culture. Then they come out, then I said, well, then if people don't know what's really going on with the scandals, I wrote this in my notes, sorry. Then come out and tell the truth. Like, for each scandal that has occurred, Jaclyn Hill has refused to come out and address it. And it's interesting because he references the Kardashians in this part. And he says that the Kardashians, they don't ever address any scandals. Well, I think it's very obvious by now that if Jaclyn Hill wished that she was born into any family, that she would wish that she was a Jaclyn Kardashian, okay? That we know that Jaclyn wishes that she was a Kardashian, okay? So the fact that she models her life after the Kardashians, who don't respond to any scandals, okay? But the difference with that is that, number one, the Kardashians have responded to many scandals. And, my husband watched their show for years, and I read magazines of them and watch E-News. They do respond to a lot of things. Kim Kardashian just came out in an article and talked about the difficulties of being a single mother and things like that. They have come out and talked about Kanye. They do address a lot of scandals that have happened through the years. A lot of them, okay? So, Jaclyn won't address anything. And I think it's because she's afraid of A, being caught in a lie, and B, because she doesn't really know what the truth is half the time anyway. But if you're saying that people are coming out and they don't know the truth, then tell your audience the truth, okay? Quit hiding. Quit hiding behind whatever it is that you're afraid to tell. Come out and tell the truth. Like, that's on Jaclyn. That's not on her audience. That's not on the fans. That's not on the haters. That's on Jaclyn. It's on Jaclyn that she didn't come out and talk about the 6 scientists that she hired to investigate these lipsticks. It's on Jaclyn that she didn't get honest about the server breaking down and having supposedly 25 million people on it at the same time. It's on Jaclyn that she didn't come out and talk about the Be Cozy situation, okay? And that she allegedly got this idea off of Kaylin Nicholson. She's never addressed it to this day. That's on Jaclyn. If Jaclyn and Jordan want people to know the truth, because he said he has a hand very heavy in her business, if they want people to know the truth, come out and tell the truth. Like, this is your opportunity. Come out and address these scandals. I would love nothing more than Jaclyn Hill to get in a video and go down the row and address literally every scandal that she's ever been in, from the Marlena Stell situation to her involvement with Morphe, to Cozy brand, to the Lipstickgate, to everything. Get in a video and address all of it and tell your truth, and then let your audience decide whether or not what they believe is true or not, So he goes on and he says that, and then he says, people have no proof. And I said, that's her doing. Okay, so then he goes on this whole thing about, like, people don't have proof, and they ask him, they give him some examples of, like, well, like, now, what about this situation? Like, he goes, well, there's proof of that situation, and they're like, no, I mean, that's kind of really hearsay to this day, and whatever, and he's like, well, if something has proof to it, then you can judge those people, basically, is what he's saying, okay? So, Jordan, I have some proof for you, all right? Let's talk about Jaclyn Hill not disclosing affiliate ads, okay? I think by now, if you've watched enough of my videos, you know that Jaclyn Hill is the queen of not disclosing affiliate ads. She constantly posts stuff on Amazon. Now, just as a reminder for those of you that don't know, okay, when you post an affiliate link, whether it's to Amazon or to wherever, I don't care, okay, on Instagram, you have to put hashtag ad next to it. It has to be in the same coloring as the link, and it has to be at the same size of the link. It can't be hidden somewhere. It can't be smaller than that. You have to make it very clear to your audience. This is the FDA guidelines, okay? FDA. It has to be, like, it's against the law to not disclose. And I know people are like, well, they don't do anything about it, okay? Well, just because you don't get caught for a crime doesn't mean that it's not a crime, okay? They're breaking the law. Jordan, you do the same thing, okay? Jordan, you do not disclose. In fact, if you go to Jordan's Instagram, it's very, very interesting, and I made a video about this. It's very, very interesting on Jordan's Instagram because he literally has tabs on his Instagram that are like my favorite kitchen items, my favorite this, my favorite that. And when you go back, it's like weeks, like a year old of these items that have Amazon links to it, okay? And I did in a video not too long ago where I talked specifically about Jordan, Jaclyn's sister, and also Jaclyn not disclosing these affiliate ads, which at this point, you guys watch enough drama videos, you've made it very clear in this podcast, you watch enough videos of drama channels that you know that we've talked about affiliate ads. People have talked about Jaclyn not disclosing affiliate ads for the last 5 years, okay? This is nothing new, and she refuses to do it. She absolutely 100% refuses to do it, and Jordan, you don't do it either, okay? And the evidence is on your Instagram. And the last time that I did something about it and I called it out in a video, guess what? Your wife, the one that you want proof about these scandals, she blocked me on Instagram, okay? So that's the way that she deals with these things. She doesn't go in and start disclosing affiliate ads. She doesn't learn from her mistakes that she made. Why? Because she has people out there like, oh, Jaclyn, you're not doing anything wrong. Oh, Jaclyn this, oh, Jaclyn that. And Jaclyn's not the only Instagrammer that doesn't disclose ads. There's a lot of them. It disgusts me, okay? But she's one of the bigger ones that doesn't do it. And Jordan doesn't do it either. So Jordan wants to get in a video and talk about how people don't have any proof about the scandals that Jaclyn has been in through the years. Well, one of Jaclyn's biggest scandals that she has been involved in that has been consistent for time now is that Jaclyn doesn't disclose affiliate ads. She still to this day does not disclose affiliate ads, okay? And neither do you. And there's proof. Your proof is on your own Instagram account. So you want proof about the scandals, it's on your own Instagram account. There you go, okay? And if you don't like it, change it and start disclosing on your affiliate ads. Like, it's baffling to me that these people want to make it out like, oh, it's us drama channels that are like horrible because we're talking and speculating about all this kind of stuff, but we don't have any proof. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is on your Instagram account, okay? I went there, I screenshot at least 30 pictures of all the things that you had not disclosed on your Amazon account, okay? It's illegal. You cannot do that, all right? Look it up yourself. Is it legal to not disclose affiliate ads? Go look it up yourself. Go find out. Trust me, you'll find the same thing that I did. So anyway, he goes on and he says, hold on a second. He talks about cancel culture and they talk about how, this is interesting to me, when he was so close to Jaclyn Hill, you know, during Lipstickgate and really wanted to help her and all this kind of stuff. He talks about that, well, they all kind of speculate that cancel culture and the people that came for Jaclyn Hill during all this kind of stuff weren't really her fans, that it was really people that were just like got wind of it, like on Twitter or social media, and then they took it and they ran with it. Okay. Maybe you should read the comments in the drama videos that you watch, all right? Because, or maybe you need to read the Reddit threads, or I don't know, I'm sure you do. But what you would find is the amount of disgruntled, and this is why Jaclyn's views have gone down. This is why Jaclyn has had to buy Instagram followers, which has been proven. This is why Jaclyn's overall following has fallen, okay? Is the amount of disgruntled customers that Jaclyn has had that were diehard fans that followed her for years and years and years and put money in her pocket so that you can make 2 videos a week having a full-time job. Okay, so those are the people out there that are working actual 2 and 3 full-time jobs so they can buy Jaclyn's palettes and continue to endorse her through affiliate ads that she doesn't disclose and on and on and on, okay? It's not the haters out there. It's not the people that just caught wind of it on social media and were, I mean, first of all, for somebody to catch wind of this on social media that doesn't know anything about Jaclyn Hill, could care less about Jaclyn Hill and be like, oh, we're going to burn her at the stake. I mean, like, let's just be for real, okay? This is not a witch hunt of Jaclyn Hill. These were diehard fans that over time have learned the truth about Jaclyn Hill. And these are the things that are the truth, okay? She does not take responsibility for her actions. She doesn't address anything. She doesn't take accountability for her actions. She doesn't try to restore situations. And in fact, the only thing that she's really tried to restore was the fact that her company, her alleged company, paid back the people for the lipsticks, which they should have, because they had faulty products that they were putting out there. Those people should have gotten their money back. You know, and a lot of people said, well, there was nothing wrong with my product and I still got paid back. That's fantastic. That was good business. If Jaclyn had taken that as a model at that time and moved forward and continued to take accountability for her actions, continued to address scandals that she got herself into, and continue to practice business in the same manner, she wouldn't be in the situation that she's in now. Hell, there are so many people out there talking that Jaclyn Hill didn't even own Jaclyn Cosmetics, and she doesn't even come out and address that. Now, if it were my business, if it was Peter Monn's business out there, and there was all kinds of court documents and all kinds of things and whatever, and lawyers were telling me you can't get in a video and talk about this, I'd get in a video and what I would say is, I cannot talk about this because of legal, but trust me, the moment that I can, I will be addressing this because as my fans out there, as the people that have put money in my pocket and allowed me to have the life that I have and the career that I have, you deserve to know the truth. So as soon as I can come out and talk to you guys about the truth, trust me, I will tell you the truth. She didn't even have the balls to do that, okay? Now, I just have to tell you, the one thing that really bothered me the most about all of this was how much protecting, and this is where I talk about him like having drank the Kool-Aid of Jaclyn Hill, okay? How much protecting that he does of Jaclyn Hill and how bad he feels for her for all of her scandals that she's gone through and things like that. Now, I want to tell you, I think it is very charming, okay, when a spouse or a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, okay, takes up and stands up for their partner. And I think at times it's appropriate. But I think there's other times too that you say to that person, hey, you know what, maybe you need to take some accountability for this, okay? Like, I don't know what kind of marriages or partnerships you guys are in, but those are the kind of conversations that my husband and I have had, okay? You know, through the years of being on YouTube, there's been things I've gotten myself into, and my husband's been like, you have no part in this, like, I'm really sorry that you're going through this, what can I do to help? There have been other things that I have gotten myself involved in, and my husband's like, you know what, like, you need to own it, you need to take responsibility for it, you know, whatever. Now, lately, I've tried to stay out of all of that. But back in the day, okay? And he would say, you know, and as would my best friend, like, you need to correct this. You need to take accountability for this, okay? And I think that's where you're a good friend or you're a good spouse, is when you tell your partner the truth of what they need to hear. But if Jaclyn Hill just has family members and friends and spouse around her that are telling her, Jaclyn, you can do no wrong. Jaclyn, you didn't have any part in this. Jaclyn, how can you sit there and say that Jaclyn had no part in Lipstickgate whatsoever when they were her damn lipsticks, supposedly? And we don't even know if it was her company because she's never come out and said otherwise. So to this day, we believe that Jaclyn Cosmetics, if it comes from her own mouth, is Jaclyn's cosmetic company. She doesn't even address that. She doesn't address anything, right? She just runs and hides. Now, I can understand a spouse wanting to protect his partner. I get that. And I respect that, okay? And I think it's loyalty. But not at the expense behind the scenes of that person not growing, you know? I'll never forget, my husband and I had been together for about 6 months or a year, and we were sitting on the couch. We used to have a couch over there, and we were sitting there talking, and I said to him one night something to the effect of like, you know, what's something about me that you love? And he said, He thought about it for a second and he said, I love the fact that you challenge me. He goes, you challenge me to want to be a better person, right? And I think about that and I think, you know, like that's what I want of the people around me. I want the people around me to challenge me to be a better person. I want them to bring things to my attention, you know? I want them to not always sugarcoat things and always, you know, say to me that, you know, like, oh, you have no part in this and whatever. Like, I don't want a bunch of liars around me. You know, I don't care how badly they love me and care about me. I don't want liars around me. I want truth tellers around me that are going to tell me things that are going to help me improve as a person. You know, my sponsor in recovery, she always says to me, this is an opportunity for growth. Are you going to take it or not? Because it's on you, right? And she loves me. She has undying, unconditional love for me. And yet she always pushes me to make the right decisions, of which sometimes I do and sometimes I don't because it's on me. But at least she's telling me the truth, as does my best friend, as does my husband, you know? Jaclyn Hill's not going to change until the people around her change, and I firmly believe that. So anyway, that's what I thought of the podcast. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.